All right, so today we're going to be diving into something kind of vital, I guess you could say. It's all about keeping those arteries healthy. So we've got three sources we're going to be unpacking today. One, we've got just general advice on artery health. We've got a deep dive from the British Heart Foundation. And then we've got a source that's focused specifically on foods. And our kind of mission here is to give you some actionable insights and maybe even a few, kind of surprising facts that you can use right away.
You know, it's funny. We only really think about arteries when something goes wrong. They're like the unsung heroes of our bodies, you know?
Yeah, totally. Like a hidden plumbing system, just silently working to keep us going. So before we get into the how-to, can you give us a quick breakdown of what exactly arteries are and why they're so important?
Absolutely. So the simplest way to put it is that arteries are the transport network for your blood. They carry that oxygen-rich blood from the heart to every single cell in your body.
Okay, so pretty important then. I know we're talking about keeping them clear, but what happens when things go wrong? What is like this atherosclerosis that we keep hearing about?
Atherosclerosis is kind of the big villain when it comes to artery health. Imagine a pipe slowly getting clogged with gunk. That's kind of what happens over time with your arteries.
Oh, okay.
And this gunk, it's called plaque. It's made up of things like cholesterol and fat and other substances. As it builds up, it narrows the arteries and restricts that blood flow.
So it's like rush hour traffic for your blood cells.
Exactly.
Not good. And the British Heart Foundation actually calls this a silent killer. That sounds pretty intense. What makes it so dangerous?
Well, the danger is that you might not even know it's happening until it's serious. This blockage can build up over time without any noticeable symptoms, and then suddenly you're facing a potentially life-threatening situation like a heart attack or a stroke.
Okay, you've got my attention now. So it's not just about treating symptoms, it's about being proactive, right? But is this mainly something that, like, older folks should be worried about? I mean, are my arteries probably fine for now?
Well, that's a common misconception. Atherosclerosis can actually start much earlier in life, even in your 20s and 30s. It's not about reaching a certain age, it's about understanding your individual risk factors. The BHF actually recommends that everyone over 40 gets a cardiovascular risk assessment to check their blood pressure and cholesterol and their overall risk.
So knowing your numbers is key. It's not just about age, it's about taking control of your health. What are some of the risk factors we should be aware of?
Well, there are several. Some are more obvious than others. Smoking is a huge one. It directly damages the lining of your arteries and makes them more susceptible to plaque buildup.
Okay, so smoking is out.
Right. High blood pressure is another major contributor. Because it puts constant strain on your arterial walls, it makes them more likely to develop cracks and tears where that plaque can accumulate.
Smoking, high blood pressure, got it.
And then there's high cholesterol. Especially high levels of LDL cholesterol, often referred to as the bad cholesterol.
Yeah.
Think of LDL cholesterol as kind of like sticky, greasy particles that contribute to that plaque buildup.
Got it.
Diabetes is another risk factor because high blood sugar levels can damage your blood vessels over time, making them more vulnerable to atherosclerosis.
Okay.
And finally, family history plays a role. If you have close relatives who have experienced heart disease, your risk might be elevated.
So it sounds like a combo of lifestyle and genetics. But the good news is we have some control over at least some of those things, right?
Speaking of control, let's get to the practical stuff. Our artery health source lists a bunch of lifestyle changes that can make a difference. Things like quitting smoking, limiting alcohol, managing stress, getting enough sleep. But if we had to pick just a couple to really focus on, what would you say the most impactful for keeping those arteries clear? Diet and exercise, hands down. They're the power couple when it comes to artery health. They work together to not only prevent, but also potentially slow down that progression of atherosclerosis.
Okay, let's dive into those. First up, diet. What should we be eating?
This is where things get interesting. Our Unclogging Arteries source highlights some real winners in the food department. Fatty fish, like salmon and mackerel, they're packed with omega-3 fatty acids.
Okay, so good for the brain and the blood vessels.
Exactly. They have powerful anti-inflammatory effects, which can help reduce that inflammation that contributes to the plaque buildup. And they can also help to lower triglycerides, which are another type of fat found in the blood that can contribute to heart disease.
Okay, so fatty fish is in.
Right.
What else should we be adding to our shopping list?
Cruciferous veggies, like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. They're like little artery superheroes.
I know they're good for me, but how do they actually help my arteries?
Well, first of all, they're packed with fiber. which helps regulate cholesterol levels and promotes healthy digestion. And they're also full of antioxidants, which help protect your cells from damage. But here's what's really interesting. They contain these compounds that activate specific proteins in your body that can actually help prevent blockages.
So they're not just sweeping things clean, they're actually preventing the gunk from sticking in the first place.
Right.
I'm definitely adding those to my grocery list.
Good. And berries are another fantastic choice. They're full of fiber and antioxidants too, but they also contain these compounds called anthocyanins, which have been shown to improve blood vessel function and reduce blood pressure.
So berries are like tiny shields protecting our arteries from damage.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, what else?
And here's a couple that might surprise you. Avocados and bananas.
Avocados, I get, they're full of healthy fats. But bananas, really?
Yep. Avocados are full of fiber, protein, and all those good fats, those monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, which can help to reduce inflammation and improve cholesterol levels. And bananas are high in potassium, which is a mineral that's essential for maintaining healthy blood pressure.
Wow, the potassium connection, I never knew that. But it's not just about adding good stuff, right? There are some things we should be avoiding.
Right. Highly processed foods, trans fats, saturated fats, added sugars, excess sodium, all those things are definitely on the naughty list when it comes to artery health.
Makes sense.
They contribute to inflammation, they raise cholesterol levels, and they increase blood pressure.
Yeah, so basically, a diet that's good for our overall health is good for our arteries too.
Exactly.
Okay, we've talked a lot about food.
Yeah.
What about exercise? What kind of movement do our arteries crave?
Well, artery health suggests aiming for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise each week, or 75 minutes of vigorous aerobic exercise. So think brisk walking, swimming, cycling, dancing, things like that.
Okay, but does it have to be all at once? Like, I'm more of a, short burst throughout the day kind of person.
Oh, that works too. Even breaking it down into 10-minute chunks can make a difference. The key is to find activities you enjoy and make them a regular part of your routine.
Okay, so a mix of delicious food and fun movement. That's a prescription I can get behind.
Yeah.
But let's be real for a second. What if the damage is already done? Can you actually reverse artery damage?
That's the million-dollar question. The BHF explains that while complete reversal might not be possible once atherosclerosis has progressed too far, you can absolutely slow it down and prevent further damage.
That's good to hear.
Right.
Even if we haven't been perfect in the past, we can still take action to protect our arteries going forward.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And to answer that question a bit more, we need to talk about medication.
All right, let's move on to part 2 of this deep dive and explore that.